So much to work for and so much to explore for the whole bunch of new galaxies to explore, and as a result for this kinds of stuff, hopefully we should be back for able to actually gather some more of those power stars in Dream likes have been, you know, the next future worlds and onwards though. So even then though, that's as far as I can, most likely try to say about this for this point. So, hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Duffy Duck here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Let's Play of Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Nintendo Wii / Nintendo Wii U eShop downloadable version. So, excuse me, I got something on my throat there folks, I do apologize for that. So anyways though, last time we did manage to able to gather some more of those power stars, including some of these, well, prankster comments in Junior likes of in World 3 and all that stuff. So even then though, and also he managed to beat the likes out of Bowser Jr. on his, well, his Mega Hammer contraption. So even then though, we did manage to able to actually defeat him no problem whatsoever. So even then though, chances are that is really, you know, spectacular as a result. So even then though, no idea why I truly say that. So even then though, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be getting things started by going through the 4th world in the game, and that's the forms of, well, to simply put, is World 4. And the first level we're going to be jump into in World 4, that is Supermassive Galaxy. And the first mission we can able to hop into is Huge Troubles with Big Wiggler. So if you couldn't tell, taking a note just from Super Mario Bros. 3, that everything else is huge, like the coins, and especially, well, one particular coin to be exact, and especially noticeable with these pipes, and not to mention with all this block platforms, and let's not forget to mention about the enemies themselves. So even then though, like, everything else is huge. I mean, gigantic as a result. So even then though, chances are that the only way you can able to actually deal with them is the fact that you notice with the giant Goomba that we've already come across into ever since, like, do you remember the first game that in order to actually defeat him is the fact that you need to purposely trying to able to use the spin attack, and that's all of those to it. So even then though, that's the same thing for here, but I believe we actually introduced into ourselves the newest enemies that we actually decided to come across, which even then though, we'll discover more now later. But first of all, let me show you this quickly, is the fact that in order to actually get ourselves a whole bunch of extra lives, as you can see right there, this is actually the forms of the infinite one-up trick. So even then though, if you really want to have yourselves if you have a hard time trying to deal with the harder missions during later on throughout in this game, well, goods on you is the fact that the actual infinite one-up trick will be there. So even then though, I highly recommend you able to choose this level, and the best strategy for this is to go to, you know, the first mission or the secret mission. Because I say secret mission is because, well, much like always, in the very first missions is the fact that we actually stumbled across the, well, the secret mission as a result. And thankfully though, we don't need to worry about the coins or star bits for that particular matter, because it's only until when it gets to the point until nearly towards the end of the entire mission. So even then though, before you're able to actually continue with all this stuff, let me just go ahead and grab some coins or whatnot. So even then though, yeah, everything's all accounted for. So once again folks, I do apologize with the lack of awkward dialogue for this point right there, is because at the moment right now, if you couldn't tell already about the fact that I'm actually feeling slightly sick. Well, not physically sick or anything like that, it's just I just felt slightly tad little bit sick, because even then though, that's well, as a result, because of my throat is actually getting significantly dried up, like it usually does that from my most recording sessions as a result. So I'm hoping until the likes of the next video or something, then hopefully my voice should be a little bit more better than it used to be. So even then though, and that's as far as I can say about the forms of certain updates for this point, until when it gets to the point until the later stages that we'll briefly talk about more on that specific gaming stuff until later, because for now, here we actually onto that specific green planet right there. Now you probably guys are thinking about the fact that, oh, this planet seems kind of pointless to begin with, but it turns out it actually contains a power star itself. So even then, in order to actually just manage to completely done with this mission entirely, is the fact that you have to make every single flowers bloom on that specific planet. So even though the secret mission's name is In Full Bloom. So even though that, you know, you need to be able to actually awaken every single of those flowers in the entire planet. So, well, at least in one particular planetoid or anything like that. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And of course, we got ourselves the Prankster Comet in World 2, back in during the likes of in World 2, I should say. And the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that we've now actually got ourselves the Prankster Comet in Bowser's Lava Lair. But before we get into that, however, though, we'll, do the normal mission now on, you know, Supermassive Galaxy onto Huge Trouble with Big Wigglers. So even then, though, whenever I first saw this, as in back in, oh, there's Luigi again. Anyways, though, so, whenever I managed able to saw this back in during the likes of in E3 2009, when this world was actually revealed, even though it doesn't add that much in the E3 2009 trailer, because of how the fact that, well, they just need some more time to develop the actual thing itself, but for what I've seen the actual, world itself like this, it almost inspires Giant Land from Super Mario Bros. 3. I was actually pretty excited about this world makes its debut, but this time around though in 3D, no longer going to be in a 2D action of any sort. Well, there might be some occasional 2D parts like this, but even then, that's just besides the point. So, yeah, today's day is the forms of the 15th of July, in this case in 2019. I cannot even believe we're actually on, well, let's just say we're almost at the halfway point of this month in particular, which even then though, that chances are that we're actually getting almost quite close towards the next month, which should be August. So even then though, that chances are I'm really looking forward to able to see what the next marathon should be done, but even then though, I'm really hoping that we can do the actual marathon of Castlevania stuff, or even especially noticeable with I would classify for saying Mega Man X series at this point, even though despite the fact that Mega Man X9 still hasn't even announced just yet for some time, but even then though, I'm just really damn hoping if that will be the case, because if that Mega Man X9 will be announced, most notably in some years' time, then we will definitely gonna be doing the Mega Man X series as a result. So even then though, that's if that's to be the case, then I'm actually really damn hyped for it. So even then though, that well, who knows, we'll find things out into it when it gets to the point until future points and onwards though, but even then though, we'll discuss more on that whenever when that game is fully announced and stuff. So even then though, and again, not much else to tell, because even then though, let's just go ahead and just grab onto this pole, and let's go ahead and grab the cells of, whoa, what the? How the hell did that happen right there? Oh jeez, that was really bad luck for my partner right there, but hey, on the plus side note, I was practically safe, so even then though, if I accidentally fell off due to when this happens, then I was seriously gonna able to actually just, well, not so much for like throwing my controller or anything like that, it's just that, well, the checkpoint itself is not that, you know, not that far from here though, I don't think, so even then though, whatever, but hey, at least we got it in the end, after like, almost attempt to die on that part, so even then though, we actually got ourselves 52 power stars, so even then though, not too shabby for the most part though, and, before you're able to actually continue on with the next, few galaxies up ahead, well, most notably with those two right here, we'll head back to World 2, and, hopefully we can able to deal with, well, the Prankster Comet in Bowser's Lava Lair, and I think if I remember correctly, that it will be something related to speed or something, so even then though, we'll just see what happens here, so even then though, Lava Lair speed run, so even then though, yeah, we have to make our way to the ending portion, and let's not forget ourselves the actual, obtainable clocks that we need to keep on collecting before the actual time runs out, so you probably get the idea for the suggestions here, and this time around though, we start things off with 30 seconds as opposed to 20 seconds than the likes of how it does it in, Sky Station Galaxy this time, so even then though, that just makes it a little bit more generous with most other points worth noting for, but even then though, that again, in order to actually just complete this mission entirely, is the fact that, well, you can't just ignore those clocks entirely, you have to collect them for the sake of like, well, continuation of any sorts. So anyway, so let's grab this next clock and get ourselves next 10 seconds for our disposal. So Yeah, I apologize with that, you know, that throat, coughing, particular sounds is actually keep on, keep on happening for this video, because again, I said this before. Whoa! Jesus Christ. Anyways, let's skip this, hammer bro for the time being, so let's just, do a backflip, and there we go. That's a massive shortcut for ya. So, no need to be able to deal with the hammer bro or anything like that, which, fundamentally though, that might be true for that regard. Oh, wait. Ah, dang it. I lost my other 3 health points, so, oh well. At least we can able to actually breeze for this particular stage within no problem, because we've already done this before. But, the only thing is, this time around though, is the fact they need to be able to worry about the actual time clock. So, yeah, you probably get the idea for that. So even then, let's bust out this cage open, and that way we can able to continue throughout the level. And, hopefully we should able to dodge the insane amount of those mountain mouths, if you couldn't tell, because even then, although, kind of think about it, if I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this will be the final time we're going to be seeing those mountain mouths until 2013 arises, when they bring back those guys on, you know, Mario Party Island Tour. And after that, we're never going to see those mountain mouths for sort of light of day again, which is kind of a shame though, really, because these enemies do look very, very cool. Even then though, that it feels likely a head's dry bones, but except the fact that they don't have a bodies detached or bodies attached. So even then, instead of that, it's just the actual dry bones head just munching the actual floor itself. So even then though, that I just wish if those enemies make a return though, but we'll find out exponentially in the future. So even then though, before you're able to get the power star, let me just go ahead and grab the 1-up mushroom right there. And yeah, these little ball stuff is not even there, especially noticeable with the Bowser's gate or anything like that, just because of how the fact that, wow, we're in a hurry and stuff. And as a result though, if we spend long enough on that specific spot right there, then obviously we're gonna get ourselves a timeout, or in this case time over, to be more precise. So yeah, that concludes Bowser's Lava Lair. Unfortunately though, we're not gonna able to actually completely done with World 2 just yet, until future points and onwards. So even then though, chances are we might as well able to actually hit back into this world and join at the future points and onwards for this game. So even then though, because of this though, I'm pretty sure in Boulder Bowl was not exactly 100% complete yet. So because you see, with the common medal icon, meaning about the fact that with, if you manage to obtain all this stuff though, well, most of the time anyway though, it's hard to explain sometimes, but anyways. And speaking of stuff, so let's head back into Supermassive Galaxy for the 3rd time, and because of this though, we got ourselves another Prankster Comet Arise Us. So even then though, this time around though, we have ourselves Big Wiggler's Speedrun, which is exactly the same mission as from before, but of course, like always, there's a time limit. So even then though, that we need to hurry things up, and there's no Luigi this time. So even then though, we've only got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to make it there. So hopefully this won't be too hard though, aggressively speaking of which. So even then though, that it should be not that hard, I don't think either. So even then though, yeah. So few things I want to explain about this actually is the fact that we've already got about like 4 more days to go, or in this case less than 4 days to go, until the Lion King remake, in this case in the Lion King 2019 version of that particular instant classic Disney film from 1994. Seriously, I cannot even believe that the original version of The Lion King was now 25 years old, along the same lines as the forms of how it does it on Donkey Kong Country, the original game for the Super Nintendo. So even then, I just cannot even believe. Time really does fly, doesn't it? So even then though, I digress. So, yeah, with the Lion King remake film is about to be turned out on this Friday, and as far as the actual reviews, especially with the critics they actually put up with, similar to the films of Aladdin remake, and especially noticeable for Dumbo remake. Once again, much like the films of those 2 films of the live-action movies for this year, specifically the Disney ones to be more precise, the Lion King remake somehow just managed to able to give us a little bit more lower score this time around though, unlike any forms of how it does on the animated counterparts, because, well, I'm pretty sure it's because that Disney managed to able to actually decide to running out of ideas, for able to actually just to create something original with, you know, the Disney live-action movies and all that stuff. Well, usually I can tell from that part, because I gotta guarantee about the fact that most of these actual ideas has already been reused ever since during the likes of in the Jungle Book remake or something like that, but even then though, I will exactly look upon specific details about it. So even then though, that as far as the actual score of it so far, well until today anyway though, and the actual review score on the Lion King remake film is about to be able to get ourselves the 59%, which is actually a little bit higher compared to the Aladdin remake, and it's surely managed to able to actually top it off. Unlike in Dumbo, which Dumbo to me though, I said this countless amount of times, it really does disappoint me for that regard. And in fact, I'm still not gonna go guarantee about the fact you're able to actually just guarantee for excited for it now, but at least I'll give it a shot. But then if I'm actually able to finally see the Lion King remake, I can able to actually rewatch the original film again to able to actually compare between the two. So even then, I can still guarantee about the fact that the original version of the Lion King film is so much better. At least as far as the actual aesthetics, and especially noticeable for basically pretty much everything. But even then, I will mention more on that until when it gets to the point until next week or something. But again, it might actually contain some spoiler elements, but at least we haven't got that far off it. So, anyways, the next galaxy stage we're going to be heading to is Flipsville, and the first mission we have is flip-flopping in Flipsville. So, here's the main mechanic of the forms of this particular level, and as a result, now if you see these little cage panels as you can see right there, these are the only times you can able to actually decide to able to do some ground pounding on these things. And then, in order to actually get from one place to another with that specific planet or do anything, you need to able to actually be sure you need to ground pound on that specific spot, and then if you do such a things, then you can able to actually continue things on. So that's as far as I can say about this level, honestly, guys. But even then, no! Oh, I died at the bonus area. I guess that was true for that regard. At least unlike in Donkey Kong Country Returns, and especially noticeable with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze or something. If you do manage to able to fall off in the actual bonus areas, you don't lose a life instantly though. No, you're just able to actually just get kicked out of the actual bonus area, and you can never even come back ever again. At least unlike in the original trilogy of Donkey Kong Country series, at least it offers you to able to actually retry those again. But speaking of Donkey Kong Country, actually, recently on my own time, specifically on yesterday, and especially noticeable on let's just say today actually, I managed to able to actually completely done with the original Donkey Kong Country 1 on my own time for not only for the Game Boy Advance remake, but also on the original Super Nintendo version as well. And yes, I did manage to achieve 101% on that game completely, so even then though, well, I guess the only version I do have left now is, well, the Game Boy Color version. And, if I do manage to able to play the Game Boy Color version at some point, well, it might be pretty tricky for that regards to me though, because even then, with the obviously, for one noticeable reason, is of course, screen crunch is an obvious thing, and as a result though, it might actually take me a lot of trial and errors for that specific stipulations, and especially noticeable where, if I manage to able to try to deal with the next level, well, in this case, in one of the snowy environment levels, that, in one of those cases, I need to look after that, specific animal buddy companion, which is, Espresso, but, let me tell you right off the bat, though, it gave me a lot of hard time on, I would say on the Super Nintendo version, and especially noticeable on the Game Boy Advance version, but at the end of the day, I did manage to at least manage to get this out a little bit more comfortable with that specific matter, and, if I get to the Game Boy Color version, well, it'll be a whole lot of a different story, because obviously with all this screen crunch and everything, so I just want to classify that. Alright, so it looks like we have ourselves, I believe we have ourselves the next boss right here, which, again, I don't know exactly what this name was, or in this case, her name, for that particular matter, because obviously she has some sort of a silver crown or something, which, to me, for that particular crown, it almost feels like almost like a exact same color as one where Rosalina managed to wear, although it might be a little bit of a hint right there, but even then, let's not get ourselves too much. So, her real name, as far as the actual boss fight, as far as it goes, it was actually known as Glendoza, which in order to actually deal with the damage on her is the fact that, as you can tell, with all these little flip panels that we need to constantly going to be using. That way you can able to actually just like, although there are occasional moments where, in the first phase it's very simple, but until it gets to the second phase, especially noticeable with the third and final phase, it gets a little bit tricky to able to actually just manage to able to take her on, but in order to actually deal the damage on her is the fact that, well, it's usually able to actually go underneath that particular cage. That way is the only time you can able to damage her. So even though, but I can assure to you, she actually has like 3 hit points. So yeah, not much else to anything like that. So if you're lucky enough, if you manage to dodge those little fireballs, if you couldn't tell, that way you should able to actually make yourself a little bit more easier just for you. So even then, I think that pretty much does it for that specific Gloomdoozer. So even then though, that's or Gloomdoozer as far as I meant to say for that part. So but there's not much else to this guy right there, or in this case for this matter, her, as far as the actual like the actual female boss as far as I'm most likely concerned with. But even then though, that's besides the point right there. So alright, so there we go. That pretty much does it for this mission on Flipsville Galaxy. And yes, we did get ourselves a common medal, so don't worry. I was able to actually keep a hold of those. And 718 of those coins so far. So now we can actually access to another 2 sets of galaxies right there. So yeah, it's pretty nice considering stuff. And I believe once again we got ourselves that specific letter, which is actually by the forms of, well, basically the unknown person as far as I'm most likely aware of. And once again it gives me like 50 star bits. So even then, again, super helpful, especially noticeable if you really want to go after like the next upcoming galaxies in the future, specifically for the usage of the star bits to top it off. Then you know, you probably get the idea for that. So Flipsville's New Digs. So even then though, that's I think this is where we're going to be able to come across into Spindrills every now and then. So even then though, that all seems the case. Because as far as I'm aware, we haven't seen the actual Spindrill power-up, or in this case for that specific item, for quite some time actually, since, you know, Spin Dig Galaxy from the first world. So even then though, well, to be more specifically, for the Daredevil mission on that specific Jigger leg right there. So that's as far as I can usually describe for that particular stuff. So let's not go down here because there's usually nothing in here. So now of course I noticed there's Luigi in this level though, but that again will save him until the forms of like let's just say the second half of the game, which I'm not gonna explain things too much about it because even then though might be contain some spoilers territory, so even though let's not mention about this too much. So, and as far as I'm aware though, is the fact that one thing I should probably mention is the fact that I believe that as far as when Sonic or Pinkie Pie for that matter already established that from before, from ever since during the likes of in Super Mario Party video, Sonic might actually go back onto the forms of or might actually have ourselves a very, very long comeback, able to actually coming back onto NES Remix 2 as a Let's Play. So even then though, it's about time Sonic the Hedgehog to able to finally get back onto NES Remix 2, because if this usually takes about way too freaking long than it used to be for uploading schedules like those, it will be a little bit of a problematic, I feel like. So even then though, let's go and get ourselves our next one-up right there, due to the actual line of coins that we need to collect. And speaking of collecting things, is the fact that the entire mission itself for Flipsville's New Digs, well, basically, much like before, we need to able to, well, in most other Silver Star missions, is that once again we need to go after every single of those Silver Stars, and then after you grab all 5 of them, with the usage of the forms of like shifting between gravitation with that specific you know, rhythm beat system, and then that way you can able to get yourselves a Power Star in the process. So yeah, not much else to anything else to be mentioned about this specific stuff for this matter, and I just lost my Spindrill right there, but that's okay though, because there's another one just besides you know, me for that specific wall over there, but nothing I should really mention about it for that specific point right there. So and yeah, again, I do apologize for the actual, my throat or anything like that, because, I'm hoping during, you know, the next video, which should be on Wednesday, and especially noticeable on Friday, which is exactly the same day as, you know, the Lion King remake will be on its way on the big screen. Even though, despite the fact that, well, I might be pretty mixed about it at the end, though. But, again, I'll mention more details onto that whenever I manage to see it on the big screen. So, and if I do like it, well, I don't know about that just yet. Because even though I haven't really get a chance to watch it yet. So, but we'll find things out during this Friday, though. So even then, that's why I could able to easily mention about that during that specific day. So even then, though, and I think that pretty much does it for Flipsville from now on, though. But then again, there's no pranks to comment or anything like that, But I guess it's now down to those new galaxies now. So even then, though, let's get this thing to it with Starshine Beach. And as a result, though, we got ourselves Surf, Sand, and Silver Stars. So meaning once again we need to collect another set of those silver stars, and just like in Flipsville, that we need to once again grab all 5 of them. And if we do manage to grab all 5 of them, self-explanatory, you get Power Star in the very end. So, and this might be very familiar to you for those of you who ever played Super Mario Sunshine before. Well, you know these little Piantas that we've already saw from, you know, Delfino Plaza from Super Mario Sunshine? Well, it's just we're able to actually go all the way down to this planet right here. Well, look at that! Piantas make a return in the forms of the 3D debuts. So, it's pretty cool, actually. But even then, though, they no need to worry about the forms of Shine Sprites anymore, though, because instead, well, we're obviously going to be collecting Power Stars, not so much for those, Shine Sprites. So even then, though, nice little throwback to the forms of the, Super Mario Sunshine title as a result, for that matter. So, it's pretty nice, though, I suppose. But even then, though, well, we'll discuss more details onto Super Mario Sunshine whenever we do a redo Let's Play on that game at some point in next year. Because even then, well, with a different sort of, stipulation system. Because even then, I said this before, with, well, until when it gets to 2020, that we're actually going to be, changing things up significantly. Which, even then, I know some people seem to be able to not overly keen on our videos is going pretty much in a jumbled mess, like in one of those videos in a slight out of order. Well, not so much out of order, well, usually most of the time though, but it's just that once again we are super busy on certain things, so even then I must admit though for this point, yeah, you probably get the idea. So, I suppose I could able to mention about another thing I just want to talk about, and that was the fact that, well, aside from, we managed to able to get ourselves Crash Nitro Kart at long last for the original Xbox that, Sonic and Pinkie Pie already mentioned about that in, again, Super Mario Party Let's Play. And to top it all off, I managed to able to actually get myself 2 new games I managed to able to pick up. Which there are specifically, once again, PlayStation family, so even then one for the PlayStation 2, and another one for the PlayStation 3. So even then that will run down the list. So even then the PlayStation 2 game I've actually got, well, for the new PlayStation 2 game I've got, do you remember when we mentioned about this since the past, that we've actually got ourselves Mortal Kombat for the PlayStation Vita, which is more accurately the handheld version of Mortal Kombat 9, for the PlayStation 3, and especially noticeable with the Xbox 360 that time. But it's to be more accurately the complete version of that, or the complete edition for, you know, Mortal Kombat 9 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So even then I just want to classify that, and especially noticeable that not too while ago we did get ourselves Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the Nintendo Wii, for not only just for the widescreen support or something, but it's also the fact that in the Wii version does have an exclusive playable character, which is Chameleon, if I remember correctly, but even then though, and also with 4 multiple controller options. So even then though, that just like in you know, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and especially noticeable with Knight's Journey of Dreams, and all the other stuff for that matter. So, speaking of Mortal Kombat, actually, it's the fact that we actually got ourselves the PlayStation 2 version of Mortal Kombat Deception, or in this case, Mortal Kombat 6, because, well, usually Deception is more accurately the 6th entry in the series, and then Mortal Kombat Armageddon was the 7th installment, so even then, that you can probably tell for the actual release order. So, I haven't really get a chance to able to play Deception yet, though, because I probably should able to actually save that up until when it gets to October or something, that it gets a little bit more Halloween-esque or anything like that. So even then, hopefully I can able to actually experience those for that particular time. And as far as the PlayStation 3 game I've mastered God, well, I mastered God myself. Well, I'm sure many people already know about this at this point. I've actually got myself Batman Arkham Asylum. Even though that game was now a decade old, even then though, well, when it first came out in 2009. So even then though, and fundamentally for this, sort of like this, not only do I able to actually go myself, Batman Arkham Asylum for the PlayStation 3, not only for the forms of, just for the sake of the actual, like, well, for those of you owners who are able to purchase the PlayStation 3 version of, Batman Arkham Asylum, you get yourselves the Joker, you know, challenge maps from that specific challenge mode and all that stuff. So even though that's, obvious number one. And second of all, is the fact that, well, obviously I've managed to grab those two from, once again, in CEX shop. And, for what I've noticed is that I've actually got myself accidentally, I've managed to got myself the Game of Year edition instead of the original release of Batman Arkham Asylum, which to me is actually a pretty cool reward, I have to say so for this matter, because even then though, that, well, if I manage to try to experience some of these DLC and stuff like that, well, good thing on me is the fact that I've got myself a Game of the Year edition, so that's pretty cool though. Alright, so we're gonna head back to this level again, but this time around though with the second mission we like to tackle through, and that is of course the climbing through the Cloud Tower, which in this case, in this particular mission's power-up requirement is obviously the Cloud Flower, and that way we can able to actually continue on things onwards. So, I am Jokester. Yeah, another throwback to the forms of the original Super Mario Sunshine game for the GameCube. I just wish if Super Mario Sunshine would get ourselves the HD re-release at some point, even though Nintendo is kind of strict for that part, but even then, it's nothing too much of a nitpicking right here, so... And of course, we have ourselves the returning enemy from the likes of the original game. We have ourselves these little Starbits Bag enemy, which, much like in the original game, they're started able to go invincible for a few seconds. Then, if you follow these footsteps correctly, then if you manage to able to pull off the actual spin attack at the right time, that way you can able to actually get the insane amount of Starbits, which to me is always a nice little welcoming addition. So even that out, I'm not exactly sure. I'm actually did manage to come across into that from ever since the past few stages or something, but even then though, that's just besides the point right there. So yeah, chances are you might as well able to actually think about some stuff. Okay, camera, can you not like lose my concentration right there, because I know for the fact that I just want to able to actually get this thing moving. So just in case I need to able to actually just to get this video going, and especially noticeable with the actual uploading schedules for that time. And oh my god, are you for real, camera? Please don't even do this to me right now. I know we have a tough time together, camera, because even I know that well, obviously we've had not a very good time with Sonic 06 for that regard, and as a result though, oh my god, I'm just getting stuck. Oh my god, there's no way I can continue because of the camera. Camera? Camera? Are you even registering on me? Camera? Camera! Do I have to get to swim back? Oh my god, oh my god, the camera itself is... Oh, I'm guessing they just, I'm guessing the camera decides to dump on me. Camera control, I need to tell you about something. You never in most other 3D platformer games where you manage to able to keep an eye on with me at all times. Well, why did you able to not do that right now? Oh, jeez. Screw the camera, man. I just cannot believe that just happened. Like, you saw that for about a few moments ago, is the fact that I swear I was gonna swim back up, or in this case swim up, in case for the sake of the actual mission progression and stuff like that, but... Holy crap, the camera does not even let me try to able to change directions at all. Or maybe it's because I was in a little bit of a stuck position, so even then though, I can't believe that camera control just got stuck on that one specific section alone. And that won't happen ever again, mind you, but even then though, that was the only time that the camera sometimes screws me over. So even then though, and as a result though, that I instantly drowned because, you know, you remember from the original game, where once again if you manage to let your air meter run out, then obviously you will die instantly. So even then, let's try this again, and Thankfully though, the actual destination point is not that far from here though, so if Nintendo can work for the love of God, work on me this time. Thank you. That's a bit more better, because I have no idea why that act out like that from my first attempt on this section right there, but even then, it's a little bit weird. But anyways though, alright, so let's go and grab pound this switch over there to actually activate not only for the Cloud Flower, but also the actual water bubble flood thingy right there, which that way we can able to actually travel through here a lot faster. So even then, that's as far as I can go for this point. So even then, let's go and use this little lily pad, because if you touch the water when you are cloud form, well, obviously your power up will be disabled for that specific stuff. So even then, it's always recommended to use the lily pads until you're able to actually just continue progression for this mission. So even then, and after that, then the power star is rewarded to you. So even then, I think that pretty much does it for for this mission, as well as the forms of Starshine Beach for the time being. Because until if we continuously grab the actual common medals and stuff, hopefully we should able to actually guarantee by that. So, and since we managed to get back in here, I'm guessing we might actually get something out of it. So even then, let's see what's happening here. Got yourself a pretty cool cloud thingy here, there. Looks like some fun. Try to stay grounded. Haha. Okay, so now we can able to actually use the Cloud Flower power-up at any point on that specific Starship Mario. I'm guessing this is the only power-up that are very much savable when it comes to that specific power-ups in this game. So, I'm afraid to say for this point, folks, is that we're going to end things off at this point here. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Galaxy 2. It's the fact that we are still continuing on with World 4 and gather some more power stars in the process. So see you guys then.